All right, hello everyone. We are going to begin our week two class. We will be studying in our unit. We're going to go ahead and go through this unit together and go over some information about some class changes, and we will also talk about some homework that we have upcoming. So we have a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to try to make this class pretty quick and simple, I hope, but we do have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. So please get ready to study Unit 2 in your textbook. What would you do? So Unit 2, this is what it looks like. So this is what we'll be studying today. Let's go ahead and take a look, at Unit 2. What would you do? I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. All right, so what would you do? What is that question, right? What would you do is a common question when we are talking about jobs and about work and those kinds of situations. So, common questions that we use when talking about someone's job or their work is what do you do? What do you do? Do you do? So, very common question when we have an introduction with someone, we are meeting them for the first time. Commonly, we're going to say, what do you do? Now, you are students, so you do not have a job. So, what's your answer? Your answer will be, I am a student, right? Very simple. I am a student. But commonly, things that we talk about are jobs, and these are questions related to jobs and career. So, what do you do is really common. Now, what do you want to be? This is for your future. Miree, right? So, depending on your major, or maybe you have some goal, some plan when you graduate from university, that's going to be what do you want to be? Be is going to be a position or a type of worker. For example, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a salesperson. I want to be a YouTube star, those kinds of things. And then what do you want to do is a similar question. So what do you want to do? That's talking about your future. Mire. So what do you want to do? I want to work for Hyundai Automotive Company, or I want to work for Samsung. I want to work in another country, right? Because it's held Chosun, right? So you got to go. Just kidding. All right, so let's talk about some jobs that we may know of. Um, well, first, let's go into our book. We'll talk about these jobs next, but let's jump into our book here. All right, we have this unit 2. What would you do? And we have some people here. This is pretty simple, pretty easy. We're just going to go ahead and go through this review about what these jobs are. So F, Sandy is obviously a pilot. 2, Emmy, what is Emmy? Emmy is C, a doctor, right? 3, Laura, what is that? What do you think Laura is? Anybody? Looks like she's building something. We're going to say architect. Laura is an architect. And what about Jose? Looks like he's in a classroom. So Jose is a H, teacher. Robert, what is Robert doing? He's at a coffee shop, it looks like, writing something. So we would say J, he is a writer. And then we have Becky down here. Obviously, she is singing, so she is a singer. Brian down here is playing the piano. So this is a word that we use for somebody who is really good at musical instruments. Aki, really good at musical instruments. We say they are a musician. Musician. In Linda, we see Linda is doing something here. A lot of animation, a lot of action. So what can we say? Linda is a G, actor, right? And then Lisa right here, obviously, Lisa is a police officer. And it looks like Lenny is making something with his hands. He is E, a chef. Chef, so that person that makes food, very high skill at making food. So those are some very common jobs and careers. Now let's go back to the PDF and let's take a look at some more. If I can get into that screen. So, full screen here. We have salesman. So this is a person involved with sales, selling products or goods or services. Commonly we say salesperson these days is a little bit more correct. Salesperson. Barista, I think you guys know. Barista, right? Coffee maker at the coffee shop. And we have owner, right? Owner is the owner of the business, manager of the business, right? The leader of the business. You could say CEO, but commonly we say owner. Nurse, I think you guys know, is a healthcare worker working in the hospitals. Secretary is kind of like an assistant to a manager. Also, we say that could be an assistant, right? These may be the same thing. And the manager is the leader of the department or of the company. Dental hygienist, this is kind of the assistant of the dentist. Dental hygienist, the person that helps the dentist. Construction worker is the type of person that builds things, buildings and roads and infrastructure and those kinds of things. And server is commonly the person that serves your food, gives your food. So if you've ever worked at a samgyeopsal and you press the ding dong button, ding dong, that person, yeah, yep, that is a server. Customer service rep, this is usually the person that you call or maybe you email. For example, if you have a problem with your smartphone, you're going to contact the company. You will talk to a customer service rep. Marketing rep, this is the person that sells things, kind of marketing. These two are kind of linked together. Janitor or cleaner, this is the person who cleans the buildings or cleans the classrooms, things like that. Janitor and cleaner, the same thing. Office worker, very, very common, just a general term for anybody working in an office. And then we have accountant. Accountant is the type of person who handles the money. And then veterinarian. Anybody know a veterinarian? Yep, that is your animal doctor. Animal doctor. Computer engineer, a person that builds computers and computer software. Coder is a very common and very popular job these days about making websites and developing online applications. So these two are pretty similar. Flight attendant, very, very popular and common job in Korea. The cabin crew, flight attendant, right? Same thing, the assistants on the airplane. Cleaner, we already have here, janitor and cleaner, similar. And these are all kind of similar, right? Maintenance person, cleaner, and janitor all kind of go together. And then laborer. Labor means using your body, using your hands to do work. So this is commonly what you would say is maybe 3D jobs. 3D jobs, so kind of hard, difficult to do. Let's take a look at some photos here. So we have a salesperson. Commonly, if you go by the smartphone store or KT store, that person is going to bother you, ask you to come in and upgrade your phone, upgrade your smartphone. So that's going to be a salesperson, that kind of job. Administrative assistant or secretary. Administrative assistant or secretary is kind of the person that helps the manager, right? So yes, the woman is the manager and the man is the assistant, right? Kind of helping them make plans and record details and that kind of thing. Construction worker. So you can see this person that is building, maybe they're building a train or subway station, or they're building a large building, something like that. Veterinarian is your animal doctor, right? Helping the puppies, helping the kittens and the cats be healthy. Then you have your janitor and your cleaner, the people who clean the areas, the buildings, and make everything sanitary and safe. So these are jobs and job setting. So if you go to page 10, activity 2 in your book, right, you can ask these questions related to jobs. Where does a doctor work, for example? Where does a doctor work? All right. How do you answer that? That's meaning the location or job setting. So a doctor works in a hospital, correct? Same thing with, for example, where does a teacher work? All right. A teacher works in, keyword in a school or university. Those kinds of things. All right, so this is very common questions that you can use, questions and answers, when you're talking about jobs and people's careers. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next part of the class. If I can get my thing to stop working here. All right, so we're going to move on and we're going to go into the book. Um, Not on this page. This is just kind of some review that you can do for the same thing that we did recently. So like, where does a doctor work? A doctor works in a hospital. So these are pretty obvious, pretty simple. We're going to go to the next page here and take a look at this conversation. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video at this point. So please stop the video and go to the next video or click the link. Okay, I will see you in the next video. We will listen to the conversation. Bye-bye.